Hey everyone, it's Alissa from Planet Alissa, and I am here with this week's What I Sold on Etsy video. Gonna try to do this really quick because I have to take my dog out for a walk, I have to go to the post office, and then I have to be back here in time to to have like a tech support call with my father who's trying to do this like podcast thing and website thing and all this stuff. So anyway, all that rambling, and I was out today running around. I actually filmed a like ride along and haul video into a rummage sale and some thrift stores, so I'll have that for you maybe this weekend. I'll get that uploaded. But anyway, this week was a pretty good week on Etsy for me. I sold just 11 items, but it was a total of $216, so I met my $200 goal. It helped that I had a couple of more expensive items that sold this week, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'll show you the shop stats, and then I'll show you what sold, how much each item sold for. That is the selling price only. It doesn't include any fees that the buyer paid to have the item shipped to them, and doesn't include fees I paid to Etsy or to purchase the item. So here's a look at the shop stats for the week. There were 2,367 views. The bulk of those were actually listing views, and then the balance were shop views. 212 favorites, most of those being listing favorites, and 11 orders for a total of $216. The week did start off kind of slow. The weekend didn't sell too much, and then things picked up. Well, there's a spike there, and then the end of the week finished pretty big. Don't really have an explanation for it. I was probably listing more stuff towards the end of the week than I was over the weekend, but I don't know if that affected it or not. First item I sold this week was a vintage Cutie game. It sold for $16, and you've probably seen me showing off a Cutie game before because this is actually the third one of these that I've sold. They're all a little bit different. There didn't seem to be any uniformity to the colors that they chose to use. Like, some will have pink legs, some will have green legs. I don't know what the reasoning is behind that, but anyway, I picked this one up, I believe, at a antique mall. I'm not sure because I've had so many, but I think this is the one that came from an antique mall. Anyway, I'm out of Cutie games now. And next item that sold was the set of 2 cup holders. They sold for $20, and they're made of metal, and as you can see, they're all open, so they're not actual cups, although they're in the shape of cups. And I guess the idea is that you would put a glass cup in there, and then you have the handle like a teacup. Anyway, this is something that I picked up at a garage sale, I believe. And here's one of the more expensive items that sold this week. This sugar bowl sold for $50. It was a toll, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Towle is how it's spelled, brand sugar bowl. It was silver plate, not, solid silver, and I did polish it up some because it was pretty tarnished, and you can still see some tarnish on there. But I picked this up at a thrift store. I looked up the particular model style, I think it was marked on the bottom, and it was pretty rare. I couldn't find anything exactly like this for sale, so I priced it high to see if it would sell, and it did. And this was an item from the clearance section of my shop. It sold for $7.50, originally had it priced at $15 and marked it down 50% off. It's a vintage backgammon game, but it's a magnetic one and a smaller one, not as fancy as some of those ones that come in like the leatherette cases and such. Anyway, I've had this a long time. I think I picked it up at a thrift store, and so I put in the clearance section to see if it would move, and it did. Sold a vintage Souvenir Pennant this week. This is one of those mini ones. It sold for $8. It's from Louisiana, and I'm pretty sure that I sold the same exact pennant a few weeks ago. I have a whole batch of these, so I have actually more of them available. And yeah, it was like a whole lot of them that I ended up picking up. And I sold a vintage pair of salt and pepper shakers that are shaped like mallard ducks. These sold for $12, and this is something I picked up at an antique mall not too long ago. This is also something I picked up not too long ago, although I picked it up at a rummage sale and not at an antique mall. I sold this mirror for $50. It was a smaller size, one of those bubble mirrors, convex mirrors in federal style. It did have the maker marked on the back, Sirocco wood. Anyway, it sold for $50. Did I say that already? I might have. And this is a vintage pipe. I believe it was a Danish pipe. Anyway, it sold for $25. This is something that came from a rummage sale too, although a little bit longer ago, back in the fall. Oh, and this one was my only international order of the week. It was on its way to Malaysia. This is a vintage toy iron, a mini iron. It was marked Lady Dover as the brand name. It sold for $10. This is something I picked up in a lot at an auction with a bunch of other like miniature irons, toy irons and things. And this was a Dollhouse miniature chair, which I also sold for $10. And I think this one came from a thrift store. I used the picture with the apple there as my main photo just to be clear that this was a Dollhouse chair and not a full-size chair, because I know that sometimes confuses people when you're looking at those little thumbnail images. And the final sale of the week was also another item from the clearance section. This is a set of mini Tupperware bowls with their lids, which sold for $7.50. Originally had it priced at $15 and marked it down half price. These were smaller size bowls, and even though they did have the lids, at least one of the lids, I think maybe more than one, was a little bit warped and so did not lock on there tightly as Tupperware should. And I think these ones came from a rummage sale. Thank you guys for watching. I put out these videos every week showing the different vintage items I've sold in my Etsy shop, Planet Alissa, and then I do try to get some other videos out on selling online. I get haul videos out and haul follow-up videos, and like I said, I do have a haul video for you that's not very exciting, but I'll get that out to you soon too. So thank you everyone for watching. Hope you have a great weekend, and happy selling everyone!